Hello, class of 2026, and welcome to Wayzata High School. I am Jessica Dahlman, a counselor here at Wayzata, and I will be walking you through this presentation to share information about the structure of our school, as well as tips about registration for ninth grade year. First of all, we are here to help. So you have a whole team of people, parents, teachers, friends that are supporting you as you walk through this new journey of high school, and we are ready and eager to join along this journey with you. Wayzata is a really big place, and so the biggest thing that we do to try to make it feel smaller is work on student support teams. So all of our students are broken up into these support teams based on last name. So you can see where you will fall and which floor office you will work with during your time here at Wayzata. Each student support team has one associate principal, one dean of students, 3 counselors, 1 social worker, and 1 achievement specialist. Our counselor caseloads are broken down even more, having the 3 counselors on a team. So you can see here, again, based on last name, who you'll be working with as your school counselor for the next 4 years. So we only break our caseload up by last name. It is not broken up by grade level. So again, we will get to know you and your family for the next 4 years while you are here at Wayzata. School counselors work in 3 main areas, the first being academics, whether that is planning your future classes, working on the transition to high school, and just in general, kind of managing classes while you're here. The second area would be post-secondary planning. So really jumping into what career and pathway are you interested in following beyond high school? And the last area is social and emotional well-being. So making sure that you're feeling good with yourself as well as the relationships you have with others. One thing to note is that we do provide personalized learning plan or PLP meetings with all 9th grade students and families. So that will be happening next fall, kind of in that first semester of class. We will set up these meetings so we have the chance for the student, the counselor, and the family to get to know one another and learn about the different goals that the student has for their time in high school. Steps to success at Wayzata and kind of in high school in general is really just working on the communication and advocacy skills. So whether that's getting to know your support staff, specifically your counselors, and your deans and your social workers, achievement specialists, talking with your teachers and making sure that they understand what's working and what you might need more support with in class. Really focusing in on what works in terms of studying, whether that's physical location or how you are going about studying different content for classes. Also just getting involved, finding ways to be connected to this community, whether it's through extracurriculars, clubs, groups, sports, any ways just to be connected to other students while you are here. And lastly, just being present and attending school every day. As we will touch base on in a little bit, we do work on a block schedule, which means that one day of class covers a lot of material. So making sure that you are here and present as often as you can is really what we are hoping for. Here's a just snapshot of our daily schedule. So as I said, we're on this block schedule, so you only have 4 classes in a day. That will be quite different from what you've experienced in middle school. So our day starts at 8:20. Our classes are 80 minutes long. So you will start your day with block 1 and then block 2. After that, we have something called hour time. This is a time where you can kind of focus in on academic work that you might need more support with. So you could be called in by a specific teacher to go and get extra support for a class, maybe make up some tests or quizzes if you had missed a day, or use that time to work on other homework that you need to get done. After that follows block 3. This is our longest block because all of our lunches are housed within it. So as you can see, if you have first lunch, after our time, you would go directly to lunch, and then the rest of block 3 would all be for your block 3 class. If you have second lunch, you would start your block 3 class and have that for a period of time. And then you would go to lunch, and then you would go back to your block 3 class and finish it. So lunches 2 and 3 work that way. Lunch 4, you have your entire block 3 class, then you go to lunch, and then you would head to block 4. So that last class is from 1:50 to 3:10, and then our school day is complete. In terms of schedule planning, This is kind of a visual of what the block schedule looks like. So we have 4 terms in a year and 4 blocks every day. Each of these little blocks is worth 1 credit. So in 1 school year, you will earn 16 credits. 1-term classes are just 1 block, and those are 9 weeks long. That is covering a semester of content, but with our block schedule in that longer time period, we are fitting it into 1 term. A semester class, which would take up 2 blocks, would be a full year of content, but just fit into the 1 semester. This is a snapshot of our graduation requirements. So all of these little boxes will be checked off in order to graduate from Wayzata. You do need 60 credits in order to graduate. As I mentioned in the previous slide, you can earn 16 credits in a year. So by the time you are a senior, you will be graduating most likely with over 60 credits, probably more like 64. A lot of our core classes, as you can see here, the English, math, science, and social studies are broken down, and you need 8 credits in each of those areas. They are somewhat prescribed. As you can see with English, you need an English 9, then you need an English 10. After that, you'll take an English A course and an English B course. That will still be pretty prescribed with science and social studies, as you can see. Math works a little bit differently, kind of based on your placement and how far in the math curriculum you are wanting to go. But again, you do need 8 credits in all 4 of these areas. Beyond that, you do need 2 Phy-Ed credits, which you will complete in your 9th grade year. We have other wonderful Phy-Ed classes that you may choose to take beyond that, but you do need the 2 required 9th grade Phy-Ed credits. In your sophomore year, you will have 1 credit of health. And at some point throughout high school, you will need 2 fine art credits. And there are multiple different classes and ways that you can earn those art credits based on your interests. Everything else, those other 23 credits are elective credits. This does also include, if you fill any of the areas above the elective and go over that credit limit, they do become electives. For example, if you took more than 8 math credits, maybe you took 10, those extra 2 math credits would count as elective credits. You do not lose them. For course selection, you do need to fill in the required courses that you need for 9th grade year, which we will be going over. You're also going to have a chance to fill in the rest of your schedule with other elective classes. And those elective classes are really just a chance for you to explore different interests, different topics that you've maybe heard about that you want to learn a little bit more and see if you are interested in. You will have the chance to kind of explore those different areas. So getting into our required courses for English and social studies, both of these core areas offer the regular class as well as an honors level class. So English 9 or honors English 9, government and citizenship, also called civics often, or honors civics. The thing to note with these classes is the honors levels classes are going to move faster. They're going to go more in depth, and there will be more expected of the students in those classes. So if that is a strong interest area and a student is looking to challenge themselves a little bit, an honors class could make sense, but it does not make sense for every student, and it's not necessary for every student. So again, if it's a high interest area and you really want to challenge yourself there, it could make sense, but it is not required. For math, most students will come in taking intermediate algebra. For students who are already enrolled in accelerated math in middle school, they typically will move into accelerated geometry. Your math placement would be a great conversation to have with your middle school math teacher, just in order to kind of understand where you are at and the options here. But most of you will be taking intermediate algebra, and those in accelerated math will most likely be taking accelerated geometry. For physical science, again, most students will be taking physical science 9, which is really an introduction to chemistry and an introduction to physics. There is also placement for enriched physical science. The criteria and pathways for this option have already been shared with the middle school. So if you have questions about it or are interested in it, please contact your current middle school science teacher or counselor for further information. As I mentioned before, you will be taking a Phi Ed class. All ninth graders do. It is 2 terms, but you have 3 different options to find a class that fits you best. So our first option is team sports, and that is the more traditional basketball, volleyball, kind of team games. The second would be adventure sports, which might be rock climbing or a ropes course. And then the last option is individual and dual sports, which is a lot of racket games like tennis or pickleball, as well as things like archery or golf. The next few slides show the different options for electives for ninth graders based on different interest areas. As you are looking through the registration guide, you are going to notice that we have so many options of classes, but that there are different grade requirements and kind of prerequisites listed for some of them. So please be aware of that. Either really pay attention in the course guide or do refer back to this list, so you are aware of what options for classes are open for ninth graders in electives. So we have a large variety of art classes that you can take through different mediums. There's some different English classes based on different interests like public speaking or cinema. The English electives would be taken in addition to the English 9 class. Our career and tech education department houses a wide variety of wonderful elective classes. Many of them are more hands-on classes, such as applied graphics or wood manufacturing, robotics, but it also houses different business and marketing classes, interior design, engineering concepts, career search, a wide variety of different career and technical ed classes for you to choose from. Music and theater, if you have been a part of band, choir, or orchestra throughout middle school and you want to continue, we have wonderful options for that here at the high school. Also, if you're just interested in joining now, that's also something you could work on doing. In addition to those performing arts, we do have other music and theater options for you, whether it's music production or music history, as well as acting classes. Phi Ed and health, there is a stress management class that is available for ninth grade students, as well as strength training, which you could take after having completed your ninth grade Phi Ed required course. So in order to do that, you would need to take your ninth grade Phi Ed in the first semester, and then you could do strength training after that. There are also different social studies electives that focus in on different areas, such as mock trial, anthropology, human geography. Our world language and cultures department offers a variety of different languages that you can learn. One misconception is that a language is required for graduation. It is not, though we still highly recommend it as a wonderful cultural experience for our students to partake in. So we do offer classes in Chinese, French, German, and Spanish. One thing to note, we do also have some different registration holds. So if there is a class that you believe that you should be able to register for based on previous knowledge or previous enrollment in a different type of course, there are different holds that you can register for that we can verify and get you placed in the correct classes. Examples for this would be like if you were involved in KTOL or a native speaker of a language, if you have an interest in enriched physical science, if you're involved in the Umpty-Ump program and have taken math courses there, if you're going to continue with that, please put in the holds for that so we know where your math is accounted for. And then there is an override hold just in general if you feel like you have met a prerequisite based on something like Umpty-Ump or credit for prior learning that would qualify you for a class. So again, this is really just for students who have something outside of the regular school day that would kind of qualify you for another class here. All right, the next couple of slides, we're going to just look at schedule planning. Our goal with our block schedule, knowing that we do have longer classes and that things are, kind of fit into these smaller terms is that we really want to focus on balance. So you can see in this class schedule that in the first semester, or term 1 and term 2, you do have civics and intermediate algebra. And then in semester 2, or terms 3 and 4, you have English and physical science. So our goal is always to try to split up the core classes as best as we can, and then fill in those other spots with electives. One thing to note, again, with world language is just that is going to be a 2-term class, and it will almost act more like a core class. So if you do have, your 4 core classes and a language, you will be, a little bit heavier one semester compared to the other. This is an example with the schedule with music. So our music, choir, orchestra, and band do alternate every other day with a required core class. So this is how this could look. So in that block 4, choir is alternating with English. And then we have kind of, split up those other cores. So civics and physical science in semester 1, and French and intermediate algebra in semester 2. This is an example of an unbalanced schedule. So this would not be recommended. This is not what we would like your schedule to look like. Support teams work really hard over the summer to try and make sure that this is not how your schedule turns out. But if for some reason this is what you got, please notify us right away, because we would want to move some things around to make this more balanced. So as you can see, that first semester has 3 core classes plus a language. That would be too heavy. All right, there is access to our registration guide on our website. So that's under the Wayzata High School homepage, under academics and registration. It's also available on all students' iPads. There are 9th grade worksheets available under the handouts and forms at the bottom of the course catalog page if you would like to work through that. As far as actually registering, 4 simple steps. The first one is to log into Skyward Student Access. Click on schedule, request courses for the 2022-2023 in Wayzata High School. The next would be to select courses. So you can do that by looking up the number or the name and add those into the selected courses. And then the 4th piece is to make sure that you add in alternative classes in case the electives that you selected, we aren't able to fit those in. So this is an example of what that 9th grade form would look like if you are kind of a visual person and want to make sure that you have all of your areas covered. This is one way that you could do it. So it has all those core classes in there, as well as your electives, getting you to a total of 16 credits. So again, you do need to, in total, register or select 16 credits, as well as adding in those extra 5 alternates. I kind of mentioned this already, but we do our absolute best to fit in your first choices. However, sometimes there are conflicts, and we do have to look at the alternates in order to fill out a schedule. So that is really important to fill out as well, and know that there is a possibility that you will get those alternates. A few things to note for online registration. It is not first come, first serve. So you do not need to rush to this immediately. We are really just trying to get a number of different interests for different classes. So please do not feel rushed. You do need to meet the deadline, which is 11:59 on February 21st. One thing to note with that, your middle school may have an earlier deadline. Please follow that. Some of the middle schools have just a little bit earlier deadline to make sure everything is completed by that final deadline time. So just recapping, requests are saved automatically. It is not first come, first serve, and make sure you get your registration completed before your deadline. All right, that is what we have for you. So please feel free to reach out to us as you have questions. And we really look forward to working with you for these next 4 years and getting to know you and your student kind of goals and dreams for high school.